Sometimes a little simple trick like this takes a few times to get it just right, so don't give up hope if you don't get it exactly right the first time. Sometimes it takes a little repositioning and fine-tuning. Well, you might remember years ago I did a video on the Duo Flush installed on the toilets that I have, and the thing is it never really worked. I mean, it worked okay for a time, and it did solve the problem I had, which was a small ridge on the flush valve assembly. And the way the Duo Flush is, it sticks on to the existing flush valve. And today what I have to show you is a change out of that to a flush valve. It's a Fluid Master flush valve repair kit. And because this one, the Duo Flush, it just wasn't working right, the flush valve had to be held down even on the full flush setting set to its highest setting. So let's see, we'll pull this one off and change it out.
Kind of sticks on the other one. Alright.
So right here on the flush valve, you can see the little groove in the flush valve, and that was letting water drip down past the flapper. The flapper wouldn't seal all the way. Now this repair kit has a putty, and that'll push down and seal that little groove. So this has a putty, and the new flush valve repair kit has a putty as well that sticks in onto the flush valve. And that was the same way the Duo Flush kit worked. The bottom portion was a putty, and then the top portion clipped onto that. At the time that I installed the dual flush valve, the Duo Flush valve, that was the only kit. There wasn't this flush valve repair kit wasn't out, so it did solve that problem for a while. I have other videos showing how to replace the flush valve, which is a lot more difficult, but now this is
reverse threaded.
It's a nice, easy way of repairing a flush valve that has a groove in it or damage in it.
Yeah. Alright. Chain.
So this repair will work really good for a flush valve that won't seat very well, that even with a new flapper doesn't seat perfectly. It's about the best way to repair it. Is this little flush valve kit.
Yeah, it's a good idea
under
to trim
$10. Works really good. Much easier than replacing the whole flush valve, because then you have to replace the toilet to tank bolts, and it's much more involved. But I have videos showing it how to do the other way if you need to. Sometimes that's what's needed, so it just depends on your situation. But this one is, if you see there's a groove in that flush valve, this is a repair kit, flush valve repair kit from Fluid Master. Works really good. I don't work for them or anything. Just I thought this was nice for $10 or less. Get things up and running in much less time than replacing the flush valve assembly. It's much more involved.
Hook here. This isn't really the correct hook. I don't like that one so much, but we can anchor it in. Make sure it's not gonna pop out. Okay. funky deal. Never worked out, right? No leaking, that's good. And the flush. Reposition it. Flapper wants to fall down too fast. Same thing. Let's see. It's got this adjustment where you can turn it for minimum and maximum. So that's probably what I need to do. Bring it more to a maximum flush. And try to that's what we want. There we go.
So the Duo Flush didn't work for my particular toilets. Probably works a little bit better on some of the low flow toilets, but now some of the newer toilets are using a much larger flapper design, so they can use like 1.2 gallons per flush. So the Duo Flush isn't going to work on that larger flapper design anyway, and neither will this repair kit work on those particular toilets, as they use a different size flapper. You check out my video on the new Gerber toilets where I show that more on replacing a toilet with that larger flapper. But a really cool deal because it gets a very strong flush with only 1.2 gallons of water, and which is the new requirement for new toilets in California, at least at present time. Who knows what happens in the future. There's a lot of developments being made with toilets and using less water, as that's at the forefront with all of the drought stuff that has recently been happening. So hopefully we're out of the drought, but you never know. California, it's always, water is always an issue, and water is probably, clean water is always an issue everywhere. So it's good if we can develop new technology. I've heard of some new stuff with toilets where toilets don't use any water, where they just incinerate waste, and I've also heard of some developments where they're able to harness power from the refuse, which is kind of cool. But anyway, that's a whole nother subject, whole nother story. Maybe I'll go into it more in the future. Who knows? We'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching Kung Fu Maintenance. Over and out.